What's up, all my Ewoks, Tribbles, Droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as that Star Wars girl, and today I have a lot of information to talk about in a very short time period. So strap in your seatbelts, get comfortable, because this is going to be a very bumpy ride. Now, as you can see, I have this tweet pulled up. This is by Tom King. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of backstory on Tom King before I read this, but feel free to read it if you would like. So, my favorite superhero of all time is Batman. And, you know, ever since I was a little kid, I've always loved Batman, and I've been drawn to the fact that Batman is one of those characters that he could have easily become a villain. His parents were murdered in front of him. He grew up in, you know, one of the roughest cities in the world as far as crime, as far as hatred, as far as evil, just condensed into what is the, you know, hellhole that is Gotham City. All of the makings for a villain, but instead he didn't. He, you know, spent his entire life looking for justice, and because the justice system did not, you know, bring justice for his parents' death, he decided to take justice into his own hands and become a vigilante and train his entire life for, you know, being able to be a superhero without superpowers. You know, I've always loved Batman. He is my favorite superhero of all time. And, you know, another character that has always been one of my favorite characters, and, you know, my favorite femme fatale from the Batman universe is Catwoman. I love the character of Selina Kyle. And so a few years ago, when, you know, I was graduating college and I was making, you know, I was moving and I was working and, you know, so busy with life, but I heard that, you know, a comic book was coming out about Batman and Catwoman, and Batman was finally going to propose to Catwoman. And I rushed to a comic book store. It was a comic book store in Anaheim called Pop Comics. And I rushed over because I wanted to buy this comic book. And I hadn't bought a comic book since college. And, you know, my entire life I wasn't really allowed to read or buy comics unless they came with Star Wars action figures, because my mom thought I was weird enough already. She wanted me to be a blonde cheerleader. I'm obviously not a blonde cheerleader. I'm, you know, that Star Wars girl. I'm her weird, nerdy daughter. And so you know, comic books were never something that was, you know, always, you know, a factor in my life. It was just something that, you know, if there was something important, I would go out and buy it, like this comic book, which I've had for years now. And I rushed over to buy it because it was it was my favorite superhero and my favorite female lead from that universe. And so I bought it and I read it expecting to see, how does Batman finally propose to Catwoman? How is this going to happen? And instead of reading a story about Batman and Catwoman, I saw some scared, full-grown man getting instructed by some girl talking about how he's scared and his feelings. And it just, I was like, who is this? Did Batman have a head injury? Like, what is going on? Who is this character? I don't know who this character is in this book. Why is he talking about how he doesn't want to fly and how he's just scared of everything and how he can't be happy? I'm like, this isn't Batman. And then the way that he proposes to Selina, I was just, who are these characters? And this was written by Tom King. And everything I've seen since, I'm just, this isn't Batman. This was an insult to Batman. He took Batman and made him into this scared little crybaby boy in a man's body. It was insulting. It was something that I was looking forward to, and it was like, what the fuck is this shit, you know? And so it left a bad taste in my mouth, and I was just like there must be something more to the story. Like I said, does he have a head injury? Is he depressed? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Because Batman is the kind of guy that knows how to deal with that. He's like, watching your parents get murdered in front of you, you can't hit more, like, get worse than that. You fucking can't. And so going, oh, I'm afraid of I'm afraid to be happy. It's like, Batman, you been dealing with that shit your entire life. You're not gonna be crying to some random superhero chick named Claire about it was bizarre, and it still baffles me to this day. But so this guy, Tom King, used to be in the CIA, completely obliterated Batman's character. He decides to take to social media to cancel his coworker named Jae Lee. Now, with the whole cancel culture, a lot of people don't understand that social media is just social media, or they don't understand that their actions on social media and not doing your research and jumping on a hate bandwagon, that affects other people. Just because it doesn't affect you, because you're able to get up and walk away from the computer, you're able to take your smartphone and put it down and put it away and walk away from the issue and the mess that you made. Other people can't. When you go out of your way to fuck with somebody else's life, and just because you can walk away from it, doesn't mean you're not still liable for the actions and, the mess that you made. Tom King decided to go out of his way to make a mess. So let's read this tweet that I've had up here. Today, DC put out an alternative cover for Rorschach by Jae Lee, who has also done covers for Comicsgate, a hate group. Comicsgate is not a hate group, nor has Tom provided any evidence of the fact. Right now, online, it's guilty until proven innocent instead of innocent until proven guilty. And it's basically like witch trials. Let's burn everyone at the stake because you're friends with this person. You got a job and you got paid to do this comic cover. Oh my God, your job is to draw pictures, and somebody came up to you and said, hey, can you draw a picture for my book? Here is money. And you took it. Canceled. Canceled. Let's go out of our way to ruin your life. Which is exactly what has been going on online. So he, out of nowhere, makes this tweet to cancel Jae Lee, an artist who is also a very fantastic artist in my opinion. You can go look up his name and go find some of his work. It is phenomenal. But because Jae Lee did a cover for Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog, Wreck Planet, for the second Cyberfrog issue that he has coming out, Tom King decides to go out of his way to cancel Jae Lee. And Jae Lee is somebody that, guess what? Oh my God, they do work for the same company, DC. He can call him. He can call up his editor. He can call up a producer. He can call up somebody at, his freaking manager, the person that signs his fucking paycheck. He can call them and say, hey, can I get so-and-so's information because he did an alternative cover for my book? And if he had a problem with the art style or something, again, that has to do with management, there's a way to get contact information for someone that you work with. But no, instead he decides to make this tweet, say he has done covers for Comicsgate, a hate group, without providing any evidence of Comicsgate being a hate group, just making that declaration, putting it out there to his over 110,000 followers to send the hate mob after Jae Lee, and says, DC does not consult creators on alternative covers. I reached out to them to express my deep disappointment. Far as I'm concerned, this is the cover for Rorschach 2. So not only is he sending the hate mob after Jae Lee, he's insulting his artwork, he's insulting DC, the company that he works for, that employ him, which I don't fucking know why, since this came out years ago and this is absolute shit, waste of my fucking money and my time, and he decides to put out this tweet. Now, if I were in charge, he would be fired on the spot or suspended without pay for doing this. This is completely unprofessional and uncalled for. And then this was done at 10:07 a.m. on July 4th. Now, let's go look at the rest of his timeline. So let's go up by a few hours, and a few hours later at 4:21 p.m. he puts out the second tweet. I spoke with Jay. He's not on Twitter. Didn't know Comicsgate existed and doesn't support hate of any kind. We're all good. Best possible outcome. No, no, no. That is not the best possible outcome. You put at 10 a.m. that day, without talking to him, without being a fucking man, picking up your fucking cell phone and giving him a call. Instead, you decided to put out a tweet to cancel him. Now, Jay has responded. This is an article from Bleeding Cool. Now, I usually don't like to bring attention to this website, but I gotta do what I gotta do because this is where this information is. Jae Lee to Tom King, we're not all good. Comic book creator Jae Lee is barely on social media. He only posts occasional pictures of his artwork and photos of his dog Loki on Instagram about once a week. But today he responded on social media storm that began with Tom King 2 days ago. Yeah, when Tom King tried to cancel Jae Lee 2 days ago and explored despite attempts to quill it. Tom King added hours later that he had spoken to Jay saying, "We're all good." However, Jay writes today, and I think you can tell by this picture what has happened. 2 weeks ago, June and I took Loki to San Diego to see a specialist. He did not survive due to complications from the surgery. This past Friday was supposed to be a day of mourning. We were back in San Diego to pick up his ashes. We were going to take him to the beach and comfort each other by sharing our favorite stories about our little boy. Now, I get emotional about this kind of stuff because I know how it is to deal with death of somebody that you love, and, you know, at the same time not even being able to cope with it, or to, you know, really not only to cope, but, you know, to even be able to process it because you have the madness that is the social media mob coming after you. I didn't get to deal with everything that happened with my sister until almost a month after it happened. And even then, I'm still having to find time to deal with it. And then my cousin passed away a month later. My grandfather passed away. And then, you know, recently my family dog passed away. So, you know, reading this, it's like my heart goes out to him because I know how it feels. And I can't even, you know, begin to describe how fucking terrible it is to, you know, not be able to grieve because you have to deal with psychopaths on social media stalking you, going out of their way to make your life absolute fucking hell when all you want to do, well, you don't want to do it, but you have to do it, is to just take a moment and cry because you're in fucking pain and you have to put your pain on hold to deal with this shit. It's the worst feeling in the fucking world, and my heart goes out to him and his wife because of what they had to deal with. Instead, let me see. We were back in San Diego to pick up his ashes. We were going to take him to the beach and comfort each other by sharing our favorite stories about our little boy. Instead, a part of the internet I avoid like the plague came barging in. I had companies I'm working for calling me, friends reaching out to me. I'm seeing hate pouring out of strangers' mouths, accusing me of things I have no knowledge of. I'm seeing firsthand how fast lies are spreading. Let me be clear, I'm not part of any group. We never made it to the beach. We spent the entire 6-hour drive back home on an emotional roller coaster. I'm writing this because I'm angry. These irresponsible tweets are not harmless. They do not just go away. They have real-world consequences. They can take away your job, your life, your memories. June and I were robbed of a special day, so no, we're not all good. This isn't the start of a conversation. This is the end, so please, don't drag me into this world I never wanted to be a part of, nor will I ever want to be a part of. I want to honor Loki by going back and producing art made with love for people who enjoy it for being what it is, something that hopefully brings joy into their lives. Mommy and Daddy miss you so very much, Loki, our love. And all of that, you know, was put on hold all because this fucking asshole didn't have the fucking balls to pick up a phone, to, you know, open up his PC, and instead of going on Twitter, go to his email and email his editor, emails the people that he fucking works for at DC to try to have a man-on-man conversation with Jay and say, hey, dude, you know, what's going on? Why are you working with these people? Why A, B, C, and D? Instead of going and being a man and having that conversation, he had to go out of his way to send his Twitter mob after a man when him and his wife were just trying to grieve over, you know, the fact that their dog died. What a terrible fucking person. Not only did you ruin Batman, but, you know, you're not a man yourself. You are just a sniveling little fucking weasel, and you have absolutely no problem, and you have no concept of the repercussions of your actions. You actually thought going and posting on Twitter without going and, you know, trying to have a one-on-one discussion and trying to talk to someone face to face, and just going and, you know, jumping on the hate train, hiding behind a keyboard to try to ruin somebody's life and career is okay, and that it's all good, and because you talked with them, it's all good. It's not all good. And the sooner that these people understand and that they need to take responsibility for their actions, and that his boss needs to hold him accountable for what he fucking did, and the entire world, his over 110,000 followers, need to hold him accountable for what he fucking tried to do to another man, ruin that other man's life, all because that he did a cover for somebody that he doesn't like. Get the fuck over yourself, Tom King. This cancel culture needs to end. This hate mob and these witch trials need to fucking end. Like Jae Lee said, this is the end of the conversation. These are like children that are throwing temper tantrums in the grocery store. You know, his boss, mommy and daddy need to say, no, you don't get it. You know, you're grounded. Go into the corner. You can come out of the fucking corner when you stop acting like a child and acting like an adult you are, and taking responsibility for your fucking actions. This is unacceptable, and it's in no way, shape, or form okay. Everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And until next time, I hope you have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And, you know, maybe take a minute and, you know, think next time before you go and post something online, because people don't understand the severity of the situation anymore. You know, people are so disconnected because the internet, it's not real until it happens to you. So may the force be with you, everyone, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And if you're new here, please take a minute to subscribe, hit the like, share the video, ring the bell for notifications. That way you don't miss any of my future streams or upcoming videos. Also, if you want to support the channel, go check out my Etsy store. The link is in the description below if you would like to continue to support me and my artwork. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.